Today I'm replacing the transmission pan, gasket, and filter on my 2012 Toyota RAV4. First thing I need to do is jack up the vehicle. I'm going to take off my right front wheel because I'm probably going to reseal the side panel too. As always, especially on my slanted driveway, make sure the e-brake's on or you have something behind the back wheel before you jack anything up. My transmission is leaking from the lower tranny pan and what looks like the side cover, so I'm going to take this shield out of the way. And then there's a big shield underneath. To get this shield, you just pop the center of these clips out of your way. And then you should be able to pull them loose. And we'll look underneath. Next, I'm going to take this huge shield out of the way. There's some 10mm screws, and then there's some more of those clips that you can get loose using a pair of dikes to pull out the center clip. Then you can get the clip this way. Now that I have all the screws and clips out of the way, I'm going to pull this guy out and get access to my transmission. Also want to take some time to clean this off so that I can make sure the leak is fixed. So we can see from underneath there is a drain plug to drain the pan before you drop it. Before I take any nuts or bolts loose, I'm going to get my new gasket and match it up, make sure I have the correct parts. Also, it looks like these bolts here will allow me to take off this brace and access the side bolts easier. It looks like we are a go for matching up the new gasket to the pan. I do have the correct parts. Next, we'll take that brace off. As always, pay attention to which bolts go where. These shorter bolts go towards the back, long ones in the front. Now I can take this brace down out of my way and have access to the entire pan. The drain plug is a 10mm Allen. Hopefully you have one of those. Alright, once you've got the fluid mostly drained, I've got the drain plug back in. This drain plug should have a washer on it that helps to seal the plug so you don't have leaks. Make sure if you have a washer, it goes back where it's supposed to be and you tighten the drain plug. Next, we pull all these 10mm bolts out, then we can drop the pan. Once you have the pan dropped out of the way, you have access to change the filter. There are 3 10mm bolts here to remove the old filter, then you can install the new one. Double check that all 3 bolts are the same length, so each one goes back in the right hole. Also make sure your new filter has this O-ring on it, and that the old O-ring is on the old filter, not stuck up in this hole, so everything will seal up correctly. Once you have the new filter installed, make sure you wipe clean and dry all of the surfaces, and then clean off the pan before installing the new gasket. If the holes on the new gasket are small enough, I like to get the gasket lined up in place, held in with a few of the screws so that I won't be fighting alignment. Then I'm going to set it up into place and start all of the screws before tightening anything down. I usually make sure I can start the 4 corners, and again, I'm starting like 3 threads, not tightening anything down because I want to make sure that the gasket is lined up in all of the bolt holes before snuggling anything down completely. Once I've got the 4 corners, then I can go start all 16 screws and I can snug them all down And put your anti-fluid back in. Once you have all the pan bolts tightened down to torque, double check going around twice, making sure nothing's loose. I also clean all of the old leak. Make sure everything's clean and dry so that you can tell if anything's leaking and it's not just old residue. Gonna tighten this bracket back up in place, and then we can reinstall the shields. Once you get the wheel back on, torque to 80 foot-pounds, the vehicle back on level ground, then you can refill the fluid. Drain and fill is about 3.8 quarts, so I start with 3 or 3.5 quarts, then start it up, go through all of the gears, and recheck. The dipstick has a hot and cool level, but basically want to make sure after a test drive that I'm between these two hash marks so that you're sure that your level is good, and then double check for leaks and you should be good to go.